So you're trying to backfill a space. What are you going to do? So when you're dealing with a building that was previously for another use, you might change it dramatically or try just to backfill it with the prior tenant. This is what I would do in these situations as an actual landlord, working with a person like myself that's working with tenants in the open market for your building. So let's dive in. So in commercial real estate, when we talk about the word backfill, that's the process of finding a new tenant where a space has been vacated. This is going to be crucial, of course, to start generating more revenue. We want to get this space backfilled as soon as we can to maintain occupancy in our center, or if it's a freestanding building, just getting actual income on our property. So for more unique spaces, as the one I walked yesterday, for a childcare facility, it's going to require special considerations, which we'll get into here in a second. So typically what happens, either a space has been vacated for a short, brief time. We already knew the tenant's lease was going to end, and they've already notified us that they're going to leave the facility or space, or it's been vacated for years. And we have to figure out what the current condition is and the considerations to either renovate or make the space planning actually applicable to the new tenants that we're trying to bring in. So when you have a space designed for home care, here's what you need to keep in mind. We have unique features that are going to be in this particular building, and typically these are freestanding buildings that are single tenants, meaning there's not other tenants within the facility, or if there are party walls to multi-tenant, retail or office strip or building that there's other tenants around. That's typically not the case, because there's usually things that we talk about. For one, safety features. There's going to be certain door locks for child-proofing of the facility. Again, this is typically for a single tenant building, secure entryways, and specialized fire safety requirements. Number two, we're talking about play areas. So typically these buildings are required by federal or state agencies if it is a child care or an ABA therapy clinic or facility, that there needs to be outdoor play areas. The kids need their space. They need to be outside, and typically that's what is going to be required. So they need to have an outdoor patio. It needs to be fenced in. We have traffic considerations if this is on a busy street. Cars coming in and out if the parking lot is attached within the easements. Number three, we're talking about restroom design. Typically, you're not going to make a kid walk all the way down to another part of the building. So typically, these are having many bathrooms within the actual facility, within pretty much every single classroom. And then finally, we talk about the actual number four, the classroom layouts. We talk about these are going to be divided into smaller sections or classrooms. And again, it makes it easier to watch over the children. And number five, you're always going to have storage, kitchens, again, for, all the kids, think of lunches, and not really just for the staff, but also for the amount of kids you're going to have in the facility. Some of these facilities can be 3, 5, 7, 10, 20,000 square feet. We're talking about dozens, if not a couple hundred kids in one particular building. You have to have a fully centralized building that can facilitate all their needs, including, of course, a centralized kitchen. So let's talk about potential new uses. So knowing these potential new uses for unique features that these particular buildings have, we want to determine if we're not going to backfill it with an existing child care facility that's going to come into the market, or they want a new location, what are we going to do here? So looking at the actual building, of course, this is going to be zoning dependent. We'll get into other videos in regards to zoning requirements. But let's say they will have all these zoning requirements already fulfilled. We're talking about one, education centers, of course, another type of school after school. This could be, part of a church program that maybe is nearby. We're talking about maybe a pediatric center, so a semi-medical use, office use that caters to kids, considering the setup is going to be in like kind on what they would actually need in their facility. So talk about physical, speech, or occupational therapy. Then we have community centers, so after school youth programs, again, because we already have the outdoor play areas, this would also be a good use. A family-oriented retail, so maybe some type of activities, painting, something that you could do outside. Again, all this would be facilitated in a former childcare facility. And then finally, social services, going out to a governmental or semi-governmental agency that could use a multiple office format building to facilitate their services. So with the space prepared, we have our marketing strategy, who we're going after, what kind of tenants, and we're really just trying to highlight the best type of tenants for this building. And of course, our team has a specialized marketing process that we will go through with you as your landlord rep. So backfilling a former childcare facility, of course, has its challenges, but with the right approach, we can get a new tenant to be in the building for a long-term lease, and of course, bring your income where it needs to be. So remember, when you're working with a flexible layout, a family-oriented building, and all these things we have to keep in mind when it comes to either if it's going to be for kids or otherwise for medical use, we understand these details and we truly attract the best tenant for your building. If you love content like this, if you want to learn more about how we could work with you and work out with challenging buildings, vacant buildings, we'd love to talk to you. If you like this content, please give us a like and share, and we will see you in the next video.